Hello and welcome to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network Sunday special interview. I am your host, Lewis Carlin. Very excited today because on the show we have the GSW Soul of Syndicate champion. She is Russian Dynamite. I'm talking about Masha Slamovich. Masha, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me today.
Hey, my pleasure, my pleasure. So before we get started, I just want to ask you, you tweeted something out last week. Just want to ask you about it. You tweeted, when God made the potato, he got it right. So are you a big fan of potatoes? Is that why you tweeted that out?
I thought to myself, listen, the potato is so versatile. It makes French fries, it makes mashed
Yeah,
potato, it makes vodka.
yeah.
Why can't we have more vegetables that are so incredibly useful, such as the potato?
Absolutely. So what's your favorite form? I prefer French fries. What's your favorite form of the potato?
Vod-
I'm sorry?
Vodka.
Vodka. Okay, there we go. There we go. When we're done, I'll have a shot of vodka in your honor then. So you must be very excited. Pro Wrestling Illustrated put out an article about you. And plus you get trading cards now as well. I saw you advertise that as well. You must be very excited about everything that's happening for you right now.
I am pretty excited. I am very lucky to be having as much going on as I do, and I appreciate it every day and get up, give it my best foot forward.
There you go. And just do you have any magazines left that you're autographing? I know I purchased one. Do you have any left? Do you want to plug that now in case you have some left?
I do have a couple left, so you
Okay.
guys can direct message me on Twitter or Instagram at Masha Slamovich for those things, or
Uh,
Facebook, the Masha Slamovich page.
Okay, I'll give you another chance to plug that at the end of the show. So, how did it all start for you? At what point in your life did you say, I want to be a professional wrestler? And was there a specific reason why you made that decision?
I just remember being a young kid and, watching wrestling. And then when I first saw it, I just instantly was hooked on it. And I knew that that was what I wanted to do when I got older. And then I did it.
All right. So who are some of the wrestlers that you grew up watching? Now, you're originally from Russia. So, what kind of professional wrestling do you get in Russia? Do you get the WWE? Did you get TNA? What did you get out in Russia? And who were some of your favorites growing up?
WWE was probably like the biggest one. I think there was some TNA, but definitely pretty much just WWE. And I definitely enjoyed watching that programming as a kid. And I watched The Undertaker, like Shawn Michaels, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, like those are some notable names that just came to mind of people who I'd watched.
Okay. So you started training when you were 16 years old. Is that correct? You were very young when you started training. So you trained, and I read that you trained with Johnny Rodz. Is that correct as well?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so I grew up watching Johnny Rodz in the 80s. I'm a little older than you. I think you're still like 22, 23. I'm a lot older than you actually. So I remember watching Johnny Rodz in the 80s. What was it like training with Johnny Rodz, and describe like a typical day of training with Johnny Rodz?
Well, we would come in on Thursdays or Tuesdays, Thursdays, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. There we go. Everybody would come after work or school or whatever their day was looking like. And we would all talk to Johnny, and then we'd get in the ring and train for as long as we were staying there that night. For me, that usually meant just pretty much until the end of the night, every single night. And on Saturdays, I would come in bright and early, like noon or maybe 11 a.m., 10 a.m., and we would train all day. It was a lot of training in the ring, repeating your basics, and listening to Johnny tell stories that all have secret messages about wrestling in them.
Now, were you a little intimidated because you were 16 years old and Johnny Rodz is the WWE Hall of Famer? Was there any intimidation on your part? Think, oh my gosh, I'm training with Johnny Rodz. How did you feel that? Oh my God, this is a Hall of Famer I'm training with?
I felt like I had to give it my best. I always felt the need to be the best and try to be the best. That was just my goal, was to prove everyone wrong, prove them I could do it and do it well.
You said prove them wrong. So when you first started, people weren't too sure if you were gonna be successful at this because you're extremely talented. I'll tell you that right now. I've watched many of your matches. You're extremely talented. But did people doubt you in the beginning?
It's not that people doubted me, because people always saw me put the work in and they saw apparently potential. It's the fact that I was 16. I was, fresh out of, still in high school with like blue hair, and people are like, what is, you don't expect
Okay,
much
yeah.
from a 16-year-old girl coming into pro wrestling. So I was going to prove everybody wrong and be the toughest one there and keep
Okay,
fighting all the time.
and you've proved everybody wrong because you are, like I said, you're extremely talented and you're going to be a big star. Mark my, trust me when I say that you're going to be a big star one day. So, how long did it take until you felt ready to have your first match, or did Johnny Rodz have to determine when you were ready, or and how was that first match? How did you feel after that first match?
So in the state of New York, you weren't allowed to wrestle until you're 18 years old on a show. So being 16, clearly I had to just train until I was 18.
Okay,
And I did stuff like manage and, video the show and all types of stuff. But um, we had scouts from Japan come over and do like seminars and work with us, and they picked me to go to Japan. So when I turned 18 years old, actually no, before I turned 18, I had like an exhibition match at a show that was like a tag match, and then my first real match was actually in Japan, because when I turned 18, they sent me over there to have my debut.
yeah, I was going to say you were really young when you went over to Japan, and if I'm not mistaken, you were a Skinripper when you were in Japan. Is that correct? You started as Skinripper.
That was the name I wrestled with on the Reina tour. Yes.
So what was that character like? I've never seen Skin Ripper wrestle. I've read about it, but is it different? How different was Skin Ripper from Masha Slamovich?
I wouldn't say it was too different, but it was definitely
Okay.
a lot less experience for sure. And it was just very, not, I don't want to say toned down, but it was just having to put a lot of effort in it, and it wasn't natural the way it is now after so many years.
Okay, so you're 18 years old. You've been training for 2 years, and suddenly you're headed to Japan. You must have been just absolutely thrilled that you're going to Japan. And how long were you into Japan initially when you first went to Japan? How long were you there for?
So I went for that first tour, which was a month and a half. It was six,
Okay.
and I was so excited and I was so honored to be able to, immediately go wrestle in Japan. Like, that's most people's career dream. And I was literally starting my career there. So I was very honored, and, I felt the pressure, and I felt the pressure to perform.
I mean that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing that you started your career in Japan. Like you said, so many people dream about going there, and you're 18 years old and you're into Japan. So how did you adapt? I mean, you were 18 years old, going to Japan. I'm assuming you were on your own, unless maybe somebody else had gone with you. But how did you adapt to Japan? I mean, it must have been like a culture shock because you don't speak the language, you don't know anybody there. So how did you adapt when you first got there?
Yeah, when I got there, I was alone, and they just put me in this room, this place that I was staying, and they're like, "Cool, we'll see you in a couple of days for the shows. Just go enjoy Japan now. Bye." Um, but like, having been in New York City for such a long time, to me, I guess I wasn't intimidated at all. I was actually excited, so I just went outside and, you know, I started exploring, and like I went to their version of 7-Eleven, which is like Boston. And I did also see their 7-Eleven and stuff like that. And I would just, look and try to figure out what the stuff was, because I didn't know what it was, and I was just trying stuff. And it was a great time.
All right. So what's your go-to meal in Japan? Do you have like favorite restaurants out there now? Because I
If it's like a meal where we're like just hanging out, like I'm just out in the city, it's ramen, like spicy ramen all the time.
all right, there you go, there you go. So what do you remember about your first matches there? Um, and like who were some of your opponents in Japan? And what promotion was it when you first went out there?
So when I was first out there, I was with Reina Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
And my first match, if I can remember all the people in it, it was, I know I wrestled against Leon and Hanako Nakamura. and somebody else. And then on my team, it was me and Konami, and I believe it was Yako, who currently wrestles for Heat Up, and Konami's in Stardom now. So yeah, I think it was a triple threat. And I forget the other girl on the other team, but it was a 6-man tag match.
Are any of these matches available like on YouTube or something in case anybody wants to see them?
I have no idea where
Okay.
those ring matches are, and I also wrestled for Pro Wrestling Wave and Diana at the time.
Okay.
I don't know where those matches are, and I'm still working to find them. I promise I'll find them one day. Like,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would. If you could find them, put them on social media. I would love to see them. And I'm sure a lot of people listening would love to see them as well. So, did you always use a hard hitting style that you use now, or did you kind of evolve into that?
I think my style definitely got stronger and harder over the years. I do also, I like to go to the mat a lot. I don't do a lot of that often. I used to do more of it, but now I'm going to start mixing it all back up.
All right. I don't know if you read the Bob Backlund story, with Bob Backlund's book, but he's a story. He told that Angelo Mosca used to get a little rough with him in the ring, and he used to try him in the ring, hit him a little too hard, and Bob Backlund had to take matters into his own hands. With you and your hard hitting style, have you ever encountered anybody who tried to test you in the ring, and you had to kind of put them in their place?
Of course, that happens at times, and you just got to take the reins on the situation.
All right, there you go. There you go. Don't mess with Masha Slamovich. So in 2019, you wrestled for Impact Wrestling, against Jordan Grace and Havoc in New York City. What was that experience like, and what led you to those two matches with Impact Wrestling?
That was a pretty great experience. I got there actually because I was wrestling in Canada in the first 4 months of 2019. And I happened to be at a show in Nova Scotia, and Michael Elgin did a seminar. So me and my friend actually took the seminar, and then we wrestled on the show. Apparently, my work was impressive, and something about me stood out because when Impact was coming to New York, they contacted me, and he was like, "Hey, come help set up the ring." And right place, right time. They needed a girl, and that's how I ended up wrestling Jessica Havoc the first night. And I guess that also left a good impression in their eyes because they called me back the second night to have a singles match with Jordan Grace.
Did anybody discuss with you possibly returning to Impact Wrestling? Could we see you back in Impact Wrestling? Because I think you would be a great fit for Impact Wrestling.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see what this year brings. We're just getting started on 2021, so you never know. Nothing's out of the realm of possibility.
Absolutely. Now you mentioned up in Canada. Was that for UCW, Ultimate Championship Wrestling? That you wrestled?
In the Maritimes, yes,
Yeah.
I did wrestle for UCW as well as another spot.
So how did you like wrestling in Canada? I mean, you wrestled all over. You wrestled Japan, US, and Canada. How did you enjoy wrestling in Canada?
I love wrestling in Canada, especially with UCW. It was super cool because I got to go all the way up to Moncton, New Brunswick, and wrestle up there. And then the next night, I believe we were in the place where the seminar took place, which was in Nova Scotia, in like Spryfield or something like that. But yeah, like it's such a beautiful place, Canada, and there's so many talented wrestlers up there that we need to get down to the US.
Absolutely. Speaking of Canadian promotions, Seaway Valley Wrestling, before this whole dumb pandemic hit, you were booked against, uh, um, oh my gosh, why am I forgetting her name? You were booked against in a match against Seaway Valley Wrestling. Why am I forgetting her name? She's very, very.
We just matched with Lufisto.
Oh, Lufisto. Yes, I don't know why her name escapes me. She's super talented. I'm a big fan. I guess I've been up since like 3:45. So, but they booked the match with you and Lufisto. Unfortunately, that match didn't happen because of this dumb pandemic. Are you hoping to get that match in 2021 or 2022?
100%, 110%. As soon as Seaway Valley's up and running and the Canadian border lets us come up there or lets them come down here, I'm absolutely ready to have that match.
Yeah, she's and Lufisto. If you are watching, I apologize sincerely. I don't want to get Lufisto upset with me, but that would be just a fantastic match, and I have a really good feeling that that match is going to happen because I'm good friends with Al Seaway Valley Wrestling, and I have a good feeling that match is going to happen once everything opens up again. I got my fingers crossed. I would love to see that match. Absolutely
I
would love
would
to see
love,
that.
I would love to be a part of that match for y'all to see.
Okay, and I'm sure it's going to happen. So, one of my favorite matches with you, Limitless Wrestling against Jody Threat, tremendous, tremendous match. You did put your feet on the ropes to win, but it was a tremendous match. So, what are your thoughts on that match and your thoughts on Jody Threat?
I've wrestled Jody Threat a few times up in Canada and in the United States. I love working with her. I will fight Jody Threat anywhere, anytime, any day. And the match in Limitless, she definitely gave me a good fight. And you just got to do what you got to do to win. So
Yep, that was a tremendous, tremendous match. And speaking of big matches, you have a big match coming up, a blood sport against Allison Kay. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that match and what's in store for Allison Kay during that card?
well, I've been training since the moment I found out about this match. As if to say I wasn't training before because I'm training all the time. So ever since I found out, I've been upping the ante, and I really hope for the match that Allison Kay doesn't underestimate me because you never know what I'm going to bring to the ring.
All right, that's going to be a great one as well. Now you've wrestled in Canada, Japan, the U.S. Are there any other countries that you've wrestled in, or are there any countries that you would like to wrestle in the future?
So as of right now, I've wrestled in, like you said, United States, Japan, Canada. I've wrestled in Russia. I've wrestled in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic as well.
Okay.
As for countries I hope to wrestle in, definitely Mexico and definitely Australia. Of course, England, Germany, Italy, France.
All right. Well, I'm sure that's all going to come true for you one day. So I hope I get the name right. But how's Haruma? Your dog Haruma? How's he doing?
Haruma, yeah,
Haruma. Sorry.
he's doing well. The cherry blossoms are blooming in Japan, so everyone's
Okay.
out in the park across from the dojo taking pictures, and Haruma's getting in on that action too.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the pictures on Twitter. I think it was earlier today. Yeah, beautiful looking dog. Beautiful. So the dog's in Japan now. The dog lives in Japan.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
one of the 16 or so dogs we have at the dojo.
Okay. All right. Wow. 16 dogs. So is it like an animal shelter at the dojo as well, or?
Sort of, yeah. We
Okay.
we help rescue and rehabilitate animals, and apparently we also had a couple of our own dogs that we bred or had. They had puppies, and now we just have a lot of animals.
All right, that's fantastic, fantastic. So, who's your all-time favorite opponent and why?
Man, so when I think all-time favorite opponent, I at this moment think like who would I want to continuously wrestle all over the place all the time? And it would have to be Chihiro Hashimoto from Sendai Girls.
Okay.
Because she really brings it in there. She can go. She matches my level of intensity, and every time we go out there, we beat the shit out of each other, and we have a barn burner. So she would definitely have to be my favorite at this moment. Yes.
Okay. What about dream matches? Who would be a dream match for you?
And it was this close to happening too. It was gonna be me versus Meiko Satomura. So that's a
Okay.
dream match for sure.
Okay. You think we'll see that in the future? You said it was this close.
Whenever whenever the pandemic and wrestling companies and all these things allow, I believe it will happen. Yes.
Okay. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because right now I think you're only 22 or 23 years old, so you've got a lot of experience under your belt, but you're still very young. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Honestly, I don't know because if you would have told me 5 years ago that I would be doing what I'm doing right now, I would have laughed at you and I would have
Okay.
told you you're crazy.
Okay.
You never know what the future brings. So I know that in 5 years' time, I'm going to be doing something great. So That's all I've got for you. I don't know what it is yet, but it's definitely
Okay.
going to be something big.
Okay, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. So, last question, and then we'll wrap this up. So, what's the ultimate goal for Masha Slamovich? Where do you want to ultimately end up? Is it WWE? Is it AEW? Stardom? Or what's the ultimate goal for you?
I don't know where my ultimate goal lies right now. All I know is that I want to be wrestling everywhere. I want to be putting on good matches, and I want to be one of the best in the world and to leave a legacy, to wrestle everywhere. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. And wherever life takes me is where I'm going.
All right, great answer. Great answer there. So, Masha, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It's an absolute pleasure having you on. You are extremely talented. You're going to be a huge star, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you for having me and having this chat today.
My pleasure. Thank you. So, this has been the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network Sunday special interview. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. Again, want to thank my guest, Masha Slamovich. Until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye bye.